Happy daylight savings. We made it here on time. I made it here on time. I gotta tell you, this is my least favorite time of year. Just because I get so nervous that I am going to casually just stroll in with my coffee and just oblivious that something has already started because I am an hour behind schedule. But thankfully, I am here on time, and you all managed to get here on time today. So that is a win and a joy. And spring is upon us, and I wanted to share about today's theme. This month's theme is about paying attention. Sam, can you put up that slide? So that slide is a picture. Does anybody know the name of that flower by any chance? Snowdrops. Is it really? Snowdrops. I love it. I was walking out from work the other day, and I was paying attention. And that is what I saw, and I wanted to take a picture of it and share it with you all today. The days are certainly stretched a little bit longer. And this region that we live in is starting to wake up from winter slumber. And the green shoots, oh, it's gone. It's okay. It's okay. The green shoots are starting to pierce through the warming of the earth. The birds, I'm noticing and I'm paying attention that they are singing a little bit louder. And I sense a shift in the air that spring is upon us. And springtime is also a time when people have a ritual of spring cleaning. That's actually what I spent my day doing yesterday, was cleaning and sweeping and putting rose water in the corners, and it was actually really refreshing. It was really refreshing, open the windows. And I started to sweep out the old things. I started to make space for new things. And I noticed that each season invites us to pay attention. And it's guiding us to move in harmony with its rhythms. And as the spring equinox approaches, spring reminds us not only of the sacred turning of the wheel, but it also calls us to reflect on what it means to blossom inwardly and to blossom outwardly. Thank you, Sam. The question is, have you been paying attention? Have you been listening? Have you been paying attention to the annual wonder of renewal, of growth and possibilities that are starting to bloom all around us? Spring is a season that is filled with lessons in hope. It arrives when we think it won't, and sometimes things just start popping up out of nowhere with the sudden burst of warm air. Spring offers us lessons in transformation and vulnerability. Many of you know that I moved here from Maine, and I noticed it here as well, there's this in-between season, this little bit of I like to call it a faux spring, where we think spring has arrived, it has warmed up. You see little shoots, little flowers coming up, and then we are pulled back into winter, right? So we might get this surprise snowfall, the temperatures might dip, and this faux spring that I call it, it doesn't stop the buds from popping out, right? It doesn't stop the shoots from pushing through, and sometimes you will see the shoots mixed in with the snow. They keep pushing through, they keep growing, never knowing if the sun is going to continue to shine. The shoots, the buds, the birds, they are all taking a risk. They're all taking a risk to exist, They are all taking a risk to bloom into something new. Not only is spring officially arriving this month, but it is also Women's History Month. We have a new banner up. Yeah. Yeah, you can clap. And as we welcome a new season of spring, I'm reminded of countless stories about women who embody growth and transformation. And today I want to share 3 short stories of remarkable women who paid attention, who listened to their inner voice, and who responded to the world with courage, hope, and faith. So I want to begin with Harriet Tubman. Many of you may know the story of Harriet Tubman. I'm not going to go through the entire story, but I invite you to imagine a cold night in Maryland. The air is thick with maybe fear and anticipation. And Harriet is only guided by the North Star, and her unwavering faith moved silently as she made her way north in the darkness. And every time she moved forward, she was taking a risk, the risk of being captured, which sometimes would have meant unimaginable harm or death. But yet, Harriet pressed on, not just for herself, but for her family, her friends, and complete strangers who were yearning freedom. And as many of you know, Harriet could have just stayed put, right? When she was free, she could have just stayed where she was, but she didn't. She returned time and time again, risking her life to guide more than 70 people to safety through the Underground Railroad. And even when the road was dangerous, even when it was uncertain, she pressed on, believing not only in her gifts of her intuition, but she pressed on for freedom and liberation for all. Her courage did not mean she was without fear. It meant she chose to move forward time and time again, despite it. How many of you know Octavia Butler, have heard of Octavia Butler? Yeah, some of us. Amazing. Octavia Butler is celebrated as a literary genius. She wrote Afro-futuristic science fiction, expanding our understanding of what is possible, not just for Black futures, but for all of us. Butler's path her path to become an author was not easy. Her story is, you may not really know too much about her story. She faced daily challenges of dyslexia, and she had social anxiety that she said paralyzed her. And she was met with obstacles that were meant to silence her and deter her soul. Octavia Butler refused to let adversity define her. Instead, she nourished her creativity, she nourished her imagination, and she would get up at 2 o'clock in the morning before doing all of her various jobs to start writing. And she did this for years, persevering through rejection letter after rejection letter after rejection letter from publishers, because they said Black people did not belong in science fiction. She never stopped believing in her voice or the power of her story. Octavia once said, "Every story I create creates me. I write to create myself." Now let that just land there for a minute, because to me, that is a whole mood, right? She said, Every story I create creates me. I write to create myself. And then we have the many women whose names you may or may not know. They might be neighbors, they might be friends, they might be family members, all around us, who quietly, maybe in the still of the night, they dream. They pay attention. They reflect on their lives, their hopes, and their dreams. And these women are listening to the stirrings within their own hearts, called to grow, called to emerge, called to show up in ways that perhaps even surprise themselves. Their courage may not make the headlines, but it shapes their families, it shapes their communities, and it shapes the world that we live in. Every day, ordinary women everywhere are rising to meet challenges, nurturing those around us, and daring to imagine new possibilities for themselves and for all of us. So I ask you this Sunday, what story are you writing for yourself this season? Are you able to hear your deepest, truest voice, even amid the noise and the demands of daily life? How are you making room to let go of what no longer serves you? How are you making room to welcome new growth that spring promises us each and every season? So I know it may sound really bold to ask these questions right now, right? Like how can I be asking these questions right now in the middle of all the mess and all the uncertainty that swirls around us? But I ask because chaos and trouble will come, as it always does, just as seasons do. But don't let the challenges of life keep you from leaning in, keep you from listening and paying attention to what your heart is saying to you. David, you and I had this lovely conversation, right? You listened, and we have this choir here today singing this amazing music. You listened when you turned on your Facebook. Sometimes that's not the best thing to do, right? But you listened, and it drove you to write that beautiful song. Thank you so much. So are you listening? In our moments of struggle, in our moments of uncertainty, it is so important to pause. Just to pause and pay attention to your own needs, to nature, and to what the world is whispering to you right now. This is a new season. Your past does not define you. You are, at your core, divine light and possibility. Just let go and trust that you have everything that you need to grow into your fullest self. And I know that just sounds like, oh, that sounds so lovely, Yvette, that's so beautiful, right? And you might be wondering, how do I do that? How do I do that? How do I step aside and let my true self emerge? How do I really listen to my inner voice? Well, you start small. You start small, and you start today. Answer that quiet little nudge of a new idea that you've been thinking about. Make the connections that you are seeking. Have the courage to share your truth. You don't need anybody's permission. You can name it out loud. You can call it in for yourself every single day. Get yourself a little notebook. It might turn into a book, right? right, Rick? It might turn into a book. Write it down if you have to. You don't need anybody to co-sign your blessings or validate who you are. Amen? Water your roots for a new chapter in your life. Whether it's a new project, or maybe it's a new job, or maybe you're yearning to heal or forgive, pay attention to spring and let it awaken the beauty within you. As Unitarian Universalists, we connect with the value of generosity. That's one of our values, generosity. It's the G in Jet Pig. It ties us to one another in relationship of interdependence and mutuality. Mutuality. That's a mouthful. How can we embody that this spring, right? How can we be generous to ourselves, to our community, and to the world? Robin Wall Kimmerer, author of Braiding, Sweetgrass, which is one of my favorite books, explains that nature gives us so much. Nature gives us so much that the only thing one can do in the face of such profound generosity is to turn around and do the same. So I invite you to do the same. I invite you to choose yourself. I invite you to be generous. I invite you to transform and grow and to offer your gifts back to your community, back into the world. Let's take a look around at this amazing community of people right here. People here who love you, people here who care about you, and people here who will hold the space for your growth. They want to see you shine. They want to see you blossom, and they want to see you win. Amen? Amen. That was kind of weak. I mean, I'm saying, like, we have a whole community here, right? I mean, let's affirm that. We have a whole community here that loves you. Oh, okay. And we love each other, right? We are here to see each other win. Amen. So hold on, dear ones, through each season. Hold on through each sunset, each day, each dawn. Have the courage to be vulnerable, to break through the faux spring soil with hope of sunnier weather and warmer days. Because you are the architect. You are the main character of your story, and you are the CEO of your own life. Amen, Ashe, and may it be so.